Companies are starting to recall employees to the office after long stretches of remote work. Well, that means many more Americans are hitting the road for their commute. But at what cost? Let's talk about it. Analytics company INRIX is tracking congestion data from 2022 compared to 2021, and new data revealing congestion cost the average U.S. driver $869 in time lost. That's up $305 from 2021. In the most congested areas, the dollar value lost was much higher. People in Chicago lost over $2,500 last year alone. Miami cracking the top five, costing drivers around $1,700. U.S. drivers spent almost $130 more at the pump in 2022 than the year before, Dave.
Yeah, inflation and high fuel costs driving the numbers. In L.A., that number went up to $350. Overall, the average U.S. driver is losing due to congestion is staggering. Nationwide, per person, 51 hours are lost. That's up 15, more than 2 whole days as well. People in Chicago losing 155 hours in 2022 over 6 days. It's the second worst on the planet next to London and really getting close to London. Here in New York, we lost 117 hours, almost 5 days. This, my friend, is depressing. Makes you just want to stay home. Unfortunately, that is not an option for we Americans.
Yeah, it is very depressing. When we take a look at some of the cities here that's seen the biggest jump in trips to downtown, their downtown cities, Washington, D.C., a jump of 23%, Charlotte, Detroit, New York, San Diego, rounding out that top 5 list. Dave, this might hit a little close to home for you. Do you know the most congested area in the country? Did you read it?
I do.
I-95 through Stamford,
aware.
Connecticut, right up in your neck of the woods, which I'm sure you've been stuck in that traffic many, many times.
4 of the top 10 most congested areas in the country in Stamford, Connecticut.
Yep.
The number 1 didn't surprise me, but 4 top 10 was a staggering number for a mid-sized town, but a huge route between New York and Boston. And it's just difficult. But the one surprise that I came out of in addition to that was we are still well behind pre-COVID numbers. In 60% of urban areas, we're seeing congestion decline. So clearly, people are not all the way back to the office, and I don't know if we'll ever get back to even 75% of pre-pandemic commuter levels. Yeah. So if there is a positive from it, it's that people are staying home more than they were prior to the pandemic.
Yeah, except for us. We're here. We're here 5 days a week. But also, just speaking of the traffic in the U.S., how it compares on a global basis, Chicago, Boston, New York were the top 5 in lost time here in the U.S. due to traffic, but also on a global scale as well. They were in the top 5. So it's not looking good for people in our area, New York and Boston, and Chicago, in the middle of the country.
You know, at least gas has come down. Again, that another number that was a bit of a surprise. They're only $129 more expensive at the pump for your average American driver. I thought that number would be double or triple. Now it is if you're in Los Angeles, but not as bad as I expected in terms of how bad gas prices have hurt Americans. All right.